Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's class. My name is Juliet Ekpam. I welcome you to Unical Pre-Degree Digital Lecture Series, and I'll be taking you on the topic, the English sentence. But before we go into the English sentence, it's important that you understand the relationship grammatical units have with one another in the English language. We have what we call the grammatical rank scale, made up of about 5 units. We have the sentence, you can see it on your screen, the clause, the phrases, or otherwise called groups. We have words, and then we have morphemes. All these units are related in the sense that words are made up of morphemes, phrases and groups are made up of words, clauses are made up of groups and phrases, and then of course we have the sentence, which is made up of at least a clause. So remember, we're talking about the English sentence today, so let's focus on that. What is the English sentence? It is a group of words that express complete thoughts. What do we mean by that? It makes perfect sense. If I say jump over, it's a combination of words, but it does not have complete thought. But if I say Peter jumped over the fence, that makes a lot of sense. So we are looking at that as a sentence. A sentence also consists of at least one clause. In our next class, we'll be talking about clauses. So we'll talk about that in detail. When sentences are written, they also end with terminal punctuations. The 3 terminal punctuations are the full stop, the question mark, and then of course the exclamation sign. Remember that there are 5 grammatical units in the English language, and the sentence is the largest of them all. The sentence is a block for building of larger text, like the paragraph, full text, essays, letters, and so on and so forth. So it's very important to understand the nature of the English sentence. Some examples of sentences, I've already given you one, but we have, if I say dancing in the rain, that's an incomplete thought. But if I say Jane is dancing in the rain, that makes perfect sense. So that's an English sentence. If I say because she's hardworking, it makes sense, but it doesn't have complete thought. She won first prize because she's hardworking. That's a complete sentence, a well-formed sentence, and it has complete thought. The other examples I gave to you, like dancing in the rain because she's hardworking, are sentence fragments. We do not use sentence fragments in formal text. In an examination, in writing a formal text like a formal letter, an essay, when we use sentence fragments, it shows a certain degree of carelessness and incompetence. So we do not advise that you use sentence fragments in formal text. Sentences have types, and there are 2 ways of categorizing them. It's either you categorize sentences according to their function, that's what we use them to do, or you categorize them according to their structure. When we talk about structure, we are looking at the constituent parts, what makes up the sentence. And on the function, we have 4 types of sentences. We have declaratives, we have interrogatives, we have imperatives, and of course we have exclamatory. And on the structure, we have simple sentences, we have complex sentences, we have compound sentences, we have compound complex, and then we have multiple sentences. So let us look at these different types of sentences in detail. We will start with the functional types. Declaratives are a kind of sentences, and they state things. These are sentences that just make statements. The food is very delicious. Her name is Magdalene. Calabar is a beautiful city. Nigeria will be great again. These are just statements that declare things. They are called declaratives. Another functional type of sentence is, or another type of sentence according to function is what we call the interrogatives. Interrogatives are sentences that ask questions. We use them to demand answers. Is the food very delicious? Remember when we talked about declaratives, we said the food is very delicious, which is a statement. But an interrogative statement, the sentence will be, is the food very delicious? What is your name? Where is the city located? How old are you? Note the arrangement of the words. The food is very delicious. In the declaratives, the verb comes after the subject, the food. But when it was converted to an interrogative sentence, the verb is began the sentence. Also note the punctuation mark change. When we had the declaratives, they all ended with a full stop. But when we have the interrogatives in writing, they end with a question mark. Let's move on to the next type of sentence according to function, the imperatives. The imperatives are commands, they are directives. Shut that door. Send me your photograph, please. Be in class at 7. Clean up your room. Move out of the way. These are commands, these are directives, and we refer to them as imperative sentences. And then the last type, according to function, is exclamatory sentence. Exclamatory sentence are sentences we use to express our emotions. What a weather! You know it's very warm right now. What a mess! We won! I can't believe this. It's a girl! All these sentences express emotions. They show happiness, they show joy, they show fear, they show pain, and so on and so forth. Please take note of the terminal punctuation used when writing exclamatory sentences. Now let's move on to types of sentences according to structure. Now I want you to pay more attention. When we talked about types according to function, we were looking at what we use the sentences to do. We use them to state things, use them to ask questions, use them to give directives and commands, and use them to express emotions. But under structure, we are looking at what makes up that sentence. What are the constituent parts? And the first type of sentence according to structure is a simple sentence. A simple sentence is a single clause sentence. Now, I want to take you back again to the grammatical rank scale. Remember when we talked about the grammatical rank scale? We talked about sentences being made up of clauses, and clauses being made up of phrases, and phrases being made up of words. So remember, I said sentences are made up of clauses. All right. Now, the simple sentence is made up of just one clause, and that clause must be a main clause. We have different types of clauses. In our next class, when we deal on clauses, we will look at the different types of clauses. But please remember that a simple sentence is made up of one clause, and that clause must be a main clause. Another name for a main clause is an independent clause. And in some books, you may find it being referred to as the alpha clause. Whether alpha, independent, main, they mean the same thing. It simply means that clause can stand on its own to form a sentence. It makes complete meaning. It has all its constituent parts in place. I am a teacher. That is a single clause sentence, so it's a simple sentence. Favor sings regularly. Single clause sentence. The doctor waited anxiously for his patient. Also a single clause sentence. I have read my books. Single clause sentence. She is ready for her examination. Single clause sentence. Now, I believe the next question you may want to ask is, how do I know that is a single clause sentence? A clause is a combination of words with at least a verb. More details on that later. But if you look at these sentences on your screen, you'll find out that each one of them has only one set of verb as its verb in the sentence. Am is the only verb we have in the first sentence, I am a teacher. That tells you that it is just one clause sentence. Sings is the only verb in the second sentence. Waited is the only verb in the third sentence. Have read is the only set of verb in the fourth sentence. And is ready is the only set of verb we have in the last sentence. So the simple sentence is a sentence made up of just one clause. How do you know it's just one clause? It has just one set of verb in it. The second type of sentence, according to structure, is the compound sentence. Now, the compound sentence is different from the simple sentence because it has two clauses in it. Both clauses are also main clauses. Now, if you remember that I said that the main clause is a clause that can stand on its own to form a sentence, that automatically tells you that a compound sentence is a sentence that can be broken into two complete sentences. For example, you can read your book. That makes complete sense. That's a single sentence, single clause sentence. You can watch the football match. That's also a full sentence, a simple sentence. But you could choose to put them together using a coordinating conjunction and then have one sentence from those two. Reading, you can read your book or watch a football match. Now you have a compound sentence. Mira likes dresses. That's a full sentence. Chrissy likes trousers. That's another full sentence. But when you say Mira likes dresses and Chrissy likes trousers, you have put together two sentences, two main clauses. Now you have a compound sentence. We also have what we call the complex sentence. The complex sentence is also made up of two clauses. But this time, those two clauses are not both main clauses. One is main, and the other is another type of clause we call the subordinate clause. The main clause, as we had earlier said, can stand on its own to form a complete sentence called a simple sentence, but a subordinate clause cannot do that. It makes sense, but it usually needs to be attached to a main clause to make complete sense. Now let's have some examples to drive home this point. I could not go out. That's a main clause. When it was raining, that's a clause. That is not main. I mean, I can't just say when it was raining and I stop talking. You will wonder what I want to say next. That's because it has incomplete thoughts. But if you put those two together, I could not go out when it was raining. Now you have a sentence, two clauses. One is main, the other is subordinate, and that gives us a complex sentence. Remember, a complex sentence is also made up of two clauses. One is a main clause, and the other is a subordinate clause. More examples on the screen. Unless I'm invited, that's a clause which doesn't make complete sense, so it's a subordinate clause. I shall not attend the ceremony. That's a main clause. Put together, unless I'm invited, I shall not attend the ceremony. and it gives us a perfect sentence, and it's a complex sentence made up of two clauses. Another type of sentences, according to structure, is a compound complex sentence. As the name is compound complex, it gives us the idea that it is made up of features of compound sentences and also features of complex sentences. Now, what are these? Compound complex sentences have three or more clauses, two main clauses, and one or more subordinate clauses. We have some examples. We lost the game, but Nigerians felt proud because the boys had played quite well. Now I'm using two strokes on your screen to indicate the beginning of the sentence and two strokes to indicate the end of the sentence. And then the singular strokes show us the boundaries between clauses. And if you're looking at the screen, you will observe that there is a word, but, that is singled out in between two singular strokes. But is a linker. A linker is another name for a coordinating conjunction. So we lost the game as the first clause. Nigerians felt proud as the second clause, because the boys had played quite well as the third clause. But is the coordinating conjunction putting together the first two clauses. Coordinating conjunctions are only used to put together clauses that are main. They are used to put together two main clauses. Whereas subordinating conjunctions always precede or usually precede a subordinate clause. All right. So if you are looking at your screen, you will observe that we have three clauses there. We lost the game is a main clause. Nigerians felt proud is another main clause. Because the boys had played quite well is a subordinate clause. So that tells us that two main clauses and a subordinate clause gives us a compound complex sentence. And the same goes for the other three examples on your screen. Although Patience worked hard, she got a very low grade from the exams and was not promoted. Although Patience worked hard is our subordinate clause, although is a subordinating conjunction. She got a very low grade from the exam is a main clause. She was not promoted is another main clause. Two main clauses and one subordinate clause give us a compound complex sentence. Last on our list on types of sentence today is a multiple sentence. A multiple sentence is a sentence that has three or more main clauses. Three or more main clauses. Remember, the compound complex sentence also has three or more clauses, but we have two main and one subordinate. But the multiple sentence has three or more clauses, and all of them are main clauses. So it's a congregation of several sentences, so to speak. You have examples on your screen. She attended the job interview. She answered all the questions, yet she did not get the job. She attended the job interview. It's a main clause. She answered all the questions, another main clause. She did not get the job, another main clause. So all three, which ordinarily would have formed three simple sentences, come together to form one, and this type of sentence is called a multiple sentence. Today we've been talking on the English sentence, and I would like to do a recap of what we have studied so far. We started out by saying that this English sentence is a unit. It's one of the 5 grammatical units we have in the grammar RAM scale. It is the highest, and it is made up of at least a clause. It's a combination of words that show complete thoughts. The type and number of clauses in a sentence determines the sentence type according to structure, whereas what we use the sentence to perform, such as declaring, interrogating, commanding, or exclaiming, determines the type of sentence it is according to function. In our next class, we will be studying the English clause, its structure, and its types. But before we do that, please take down the following sentences and attempt to do an analysis on your own. I have 6 sentences here. We can identify their types according to function. Can you try to do that? Let me do the first one for you. We hope to see you in school tomorrow. That's a declaration. Now take down the remaining 5 and attempt to do that. How about attempting to identify a type of sentence according to structure? The first one, Ethan loves to play football. Simple sentence. So see you next time when we treat the English clause. Until then, bye-bye.